Your dreams will come true if your mind isn't glued to the fact that life is so blue.
Aha.
Howdy. Welcome.
Okay. Got it. All right. I got to hit got it. Hold on. There we go. Now we're back.
We're on.
Sandy and girlfriend and Darren all together for an interview.
Yeah, look at this. And Brian. Brian.
And Brian. Oh, I didn't. Oh, Brian. Is that the name of your guitar?
Yeah. Don't you name your
Nice.
instruments, Darren?
No. No. Well, most of the time I just play everybody else's. You know, I'm the lead singer, so I don't have any instruments per se.
I guess it would be weird to name your vocal cords.
Well, that actually my vocal cords call me what was it, my vocal cords have a name for me. They call me slave, you know, the rest of me, you know. I'm here to purposely take care of them, you know. Hey slave, give me a drink of water. Hey slave, I don't feel like singing all that much today, so I'm just going to be really sucky and you're just going to have to deal with it, and I'm going to be down here giggling at you. Yeah, one time I had a really bad gig where I couldn't even hardly sing at all. And, you know, everybody felt bad for me and all that stuff. Of course, you know, I was busy feeling bad for myself. And I go, man, I felt really sorry for you, you know, and I go, well, don't feel bad. I go, I was so mad at my voice, I didn't talk to it the whole way home. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay. You know what, Darren? I think I want to ask you some things about you. Is that all right? Yeah?
Sure.
Well, you know, where did music begin for you? When did you get into it?
Well, when I really became starstruck with being a musician or whatever, the first time was my grandfather was in a band. He played guitar, and they actually, the band that he was in at the time, they didn't have a drummer, so they did like a drum machine. But there was two guitars and a bass player, and I could hardly wait whenever we went out there so I could go over to band practice. I'd take my little cassette recorder and record him and tell everybody, you know, oh, my grandpa's in a band, you know, he's a big star and all this stuff, you know. They had, you know, we'd go out there. Of course, at that time I lived in Iowa and they lived in Western Kansas. And at that time they used to play like Christmas, you know, dances and stuff like that. And we used to go watch them. And I just thought it was the greatest thing in the world. But that was the thing that really, you know, I go, I want to do that. I want to be in a band, you know, watching him doing his stuff, you know.
Yeah, I bet it must have been wild.
It was, you know, I was so awestruck, you know. It's just something about, you know, watching somebody make music with, you know, a stick and six strings, you know, and it just all seems so magical to me, you know. Whenever you're that age, you don't understand anything, and it's like, how do they do that, you know? And
how
it
old
was
were
pretty
you?
incredible. Huh?
How old
How
were you?
old am I?
Yeah,
I'm
how
59.
old were you?
Oh,
when
how old was I? I was 4 or 5 years old. I
Really?
think I was in
Wow.
kindergarten at that time. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So it's been your whole life.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Music's been something that has been a big part of my life, my whole life. So.
Oh. So do you play any instruments yourself?
I play bass and I play a little bit of keyboards. Mostly the keyboard stuff is just accompaniment. So I do like chords and stuff. I'm not, you know, any kind of a dream theater, you know, keyboard player or whatever. I can't do anything cool like that. But, and just a splash of guitar, you know, just enough to write a song every now and then, although it frustrates me to death to get through it because I'm pretty bad at it, to be honest with you. But
Oh, I'm
at
sure.
least I can get my idea across at any rate.
Oh, so you write songs on the guitar. That's interesting.
Yeah. That, well, you know, that's for, you know, the genre or the period of music that I came from. A lot of stuff was either written on guitar or piano or keyboards. You know what I mean? And the stuff that I like mostly was written on guitar because, you know, I'm more of a rocker kind of guy. But there's a lot of piano stuff that I like really well too. You know, that's not my only thing. You know, huge Billy Joel fan and Elton John fan, and amazed at just listening to those guys. I don't have any idea how you could play something like that.
Tell me the guitar people you dig.
Oh wow. Well, I would say the first love of guitar was the first Kiss album I ever heard, which was Kiss Alive, the first one. And of course, I fell in love with Ace Frehley and that whole thing. And I think Destroyer was out at that time, but the album that just came out right after I got into him was Rock and Roll Over, and that had I Want You and Dr. Love and Hard Luck Woman and Christine 16. Oh, that was Christine 16 was the Love Gun. Any rate, but that was when I fell in love with the guitar, and guitar players. And then it morphed on later on. I was a big Angel guy for a while. Aerosmith, loved Aerosmith. Joe Perry and Brad Whitford both are just incredible players. And then you get into the late 70s when Van Halen came about, and Randy Rhoads and all of those guys. I tell even my son, tell him, I said, I lived through the greatest period in music, in the entire world, because it was all, you discovered, there was no MTV, there was no internet, you discovered everything by listening to the radio or taking a chance and going down and just buying an album because you look at the cover and you go, well, that's cool. It's got to be a good band, And in fact, the first Van Halen album that came out, because I lived in a little town in Iowa. Exire, Iowa is where I lived at this period of time. We used to go up there and get all of our albums at the Ben Franklin dime store. They had a record section there. And I went up and I seen the cover of Van Halen 1. And I never heard of the guys. I didn't know who they were or whatever. And I go, wow, they really look cool, And I flipped it over to the back, and on the back it said special thanks to Gene Simmons. And I go, that's it. I'm buying the album. I know it's going to be good. And of course, you go home and you're just blown away by all of that too. But yeah, music of that era, all the concerts and announcements usually happened on a Tuesday along with new albums coming out. And I mean, it was all just it was a big event, all the time. And everybody talked about it. It's probably as much the way people talk about sports now, oh, so-and-so's better than so-and-so. Oh, no, they're not, arguments about better bands. And it's incredible, how all of us, my age group that grew up at that period of time, music everything. Music was everything to us.
I wish I grew up in the period of time you grew up.
It was incredible. It really was. Hearing the first Ozzy, when Ozzy first went solo, and I'll never forget the first song they played on the radio was I Don't Know. That was the song one on the first side, and heard that on there, and you're going, wow, and just stuff like that, And later on, of course, MTV came along, and of course, nobody had cable. But a friend of mine installed those. You remember? I don't know if you've seen the great big, huge 10-foot satellite dishes, that they used to have back in the day. That's how you got your satellite channels. And back then, they didn't have them scrambled or nothing. They were all analog, so you could buy a dish and aim up there and get it for free. And he installed all of those, so he'd have the demo out the front yard, and we'd set it up and watch MTV, in our house, the biggest thing in the world. Just, crazy stuff.
It must have been wild. It must have been so exciting.
And you'd get a big crowd over there because, nobody had any cable or nothing. So you felt like you were really, getting away with something, I guess, as it would be, to get on there and watch all this stuff for free. But yeah.
And now there's YouTube.
And now there's YouTube, which is wonderful because you can go back and watch a lot of this old stuff, all these old concerts now that they put on there. and
Yes.
bands that you didn't get to see, which there are a lot of them, that I didn't get to see. I was a concert goer some, but poverty kept me away from it as much as anything else. But
And I understand that. Where did you go? What did you see? Who did you see?
no, let's see. Well, not to be a bragger, but the first concert that I ever seen in my life was Kiss.
Oh, that's so
And
cool.
they were on their Love Gun tour. It was in I think I'm not sure if I'm getting this right, but I think it's either Municipal or Memorial Auditorium in Omaha. I can't remember the name of it for sure, but went in there. First time I'd ever smelled weed. There's weed everywhere, and I went, wow, and it gets all in your hair, and I was so proud because my ears rang for like 2 or 3 days afterwards, and as it would be, the second concert I ever went to was a Head East concert. I got to see the original lineup, and they threw this little concert on in a little town called Harlan, Iowa. And they go, oh, they're playing in Harlan. I'm going, Harlan? They're playing there? And I kid you not, we drove out in the middle. It was a cornfield. It was like Field of Dreams. We drove out in the middle of this cornfield, and they like mowed down a section of the corn and set up a stage like one of those flatbed semi-trailers. And the band was on it, and there were all these people, and you couldn't see it because the corn was growing all around it. You drove back into this thing. And I can't remember who the first band was because they were just finishing as we got there. But the second band, I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're local to where I'm at. I live around the Kansas City area. Was Missouri, and they played. And after that, huh?
I don't think I know them.
Yeah, they've got a song called "Moving On." If you Google, I think you've probably heard it before. If you Google Missouri and "Moving On," you'll hear it. But the headliner was Head East, and it was the original lineup, and blew my mind. I was just wow, watching it was so incredible. Never dreaming that I would ever get to be in the band.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what that. I can't even imagine.
Well, and like I say, as fate would have it, I'm in the band now, and who would ever thought that was ever going to happen? I never did.
That is so cool. I can't even. That is just
Second concert I went to, so I was like 15 years old, so it
I'm
was pretty
15.
cool.
Oh, that.
Well, maybe you can come see us, and then that way later on you can be the singer of the band.
Yeah, let's do it.
Absolutely.
No, but nobody could do it as well as you do it. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that. There's been probably several people before me, including the original guy who is John Schlitt. Incredible singer, and still an incredible singer. After he was done and Head East, went on to a really great career with Petra, the Christian rock band, if you're familiar with them, and won Dove Awards, and is the absolute nicest guy you could ever meet in the world. And we did some reunion shows here. Oh, it was in 19. It was for the 50th anniversary, and we got all the surviving members, and there were 4 at the time. The bass player Dan Burney had passed on several years before that, but got to share the stage with him, and he sang stuff, and I did backgrounds, and I sang some stuff, and he did backgrounds, and it was incredibly gracious host, and letting me sing, his stuff that he made popular. I would have been perfectly. I told him, I said, I'll be perfectly fine just to go down in the audience and watch. He goes, oh, no. He says, you're not watching. You're going to get up here and do something too.
That must have been such a thrill.
Oh, it was great. Yep.
Oh, man. You know what? I can't even imagine. I'm going to say coherently. Watch this. I can't even imagine what it must be like to be you. I mean, I've performed a couple times. But to go out there constantly and then to be the front man that you are with all your energy and then belt out notes, oh, it must be so wild.
Oh, it's a lot of fun for me. It's pretty emotional every time I do it. I feel like I don't know. Have you ever watched the movie Rockstar? With oh God, Mark Wahlberg in it, where he goes around, and the singer can't do it. They pull him up on stage, and he finishes the concert. I feel like that guy that snuck up on stage, you know, and I'm the imposter up there, and everybody thinks I'm the real lead singer, So I'm running around there, like the streaker at a football game, except for everybody thinks that I'm supposed to be up there. You know what I mean? I'm supposed to be up there running around doing this. You know what I mean? And it's all a big thrill for me because, like I say, I don't I don't put myself in a category with all of the people that I really like, and I don't grade myself against anybody. I try to be the best singer that I can be. I don't care if somebody else is better than me or I'm better than somebody else. That's not the object of it. I want to be the best singer that I can be,
Right. It's about
concentrating
the
on
art.
anything else. But, the guys probably get tired of me, especially if I've had a couple of Red Bulls or something. I go over and I tell them stupid stuff on stage, when they're trying to play, or maybe pass gas on them and run away, or anything I can do to just help out, you know, distract them from their craft if I
I don't even know what to do with that.
can. Well, they don't either, but they have to deal with it. They've gotten used to it, so.
Oh yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
how did they feel about it at first?
Well, like I say, I think I'm kind of like the ambitious new puppy that you got. You know what I mean? Most of the time, you're really glad, but they get tired of me jumping all over them, clawing them up, and licking their face and all of that stuff. They get tired of that, after a while. But they still love me, so they put up with me.
I'm so glad they put up with you. I really am.
Absolutely. Me too. Me too.
Okay. We went totally off script, but off scripted, I think is what I meant to say.
Right. Right. Right.
Um, but this kind of we'll segue into this. Obviously, saying we'll segue is a good segue.
Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. But you have quite a voice. Did you take singing lessons or?
I did not.
Huh.
And I've had several people ask me how I learned to sing the way I do. And I told them, I said, I have done every wrong thing that you could do singing wise,
Oh yeah.
and learned from that and figured out a right way to do it. Um, Singing is very personal. It's not like a guitar or a bass where you can say, here are the chords, here's this, that, or the other thing. Your voice is totally unique to you. Um, and in order to learn how to sing, you have to learn yourself. You could, you know, I know people have taken lessons and they've told me about taking lessons, and I get it. Probably would do me some good if I did that. But I feel like, trial and error is the best way to learn. And it's okay if you mess up. You know what I mean? There's some stuff I probably shouldn't sing some nights because my voice isn't really ready to do it. But you never know. You know, you get 4 or 5 really good nights a year where you can sing everything. It doesn't matter what it is. And the rest of the nights, you're like a Major League Baseball pitcher, you know. Maybe your fastball's not so good, or your curve's not so good, or whatever, and you have to throw junk up to get through a game. It's the same way with being a singer. Sometimes you have to, do some things to get through it, but you can't abandon the way you sing too much, because if you do, then you get in really bad habits, and then it's hard to get back there. So it's okay to take a chance and mess up a note or two. They say Ronnie James Dio never hit a bad note in his life. I hit 4 or 5 a song, but that's okay, because I learn something every time I do it, and I remember them all too, and some nights are worse than others. I beat myself up pretty badly, and have learned as I've gotten older, I have to try to cut myself some slack, because obviously your voice ages with the rest of you, and you can't sing the way you did before. You have to sing differently, and it all evolves. And your voice, like I say, is such a personal thing. You have to experiment, you have to be brave, and you have to try things that are uncomfortable, and you have to do things that you don't think you can hit. Find a way to do it, and then figure out a way to do it with quality, and that takes time and it takes practice, and you can't do it in a room by yourself, because singing live is different than singing in a room with yourself or practicing with a band. When you sing live, it's totally different. You have to go out there, and if you mess up, it's okay. You'll get to do it again sometime, and you'll learn something every time you do it, as long as you're paying attention.
Huh. So I take it you're pretty comfortable performing.
I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable being me, I guess, is probably the best. I'm comfortable being up there, when it's good, I understand. I go, okay, well, I had a good show this night, but that night's over. The next night it may not be this good. You have to take it with a grain of salt. And the nights that it's bad, I'm kind of hard on myself, but I tell myself, you're gonna be better the next time. We're gonna work on it and make sure you don't make those mistakes again. You get sick, there's nothing you can do about that. One thing I found too, if you can't sing real well, try to be entertaining, because people are there to be entertained anyway. And most people are there to see what dumb stuff I'm going to say in between songs, or dumb things I'm going to do, and some of them can't even tell you if I did a good job singing or not, because they're busy watching what a clown I am, and that's what it is. You're up there waving your arms and kicking your feet and doing a dance and, singing along to it. And maybe if you're not as good a singer, but if you perform and you make them happy, people walk away and say, well, he had a bad night, but he was great. It was great to watch him,
That's really funny. I never even thought about that. That's really funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you have to take a deep breath and say, it's going to be all right, regardless of whether you're really great or you're really not. You'll find a way, and sometimes it's scary, you know what I mean? But you just have to get up there and do the best you can. That's all you can do every night, is the best you can. And if you do that, people will know. People will know.
You must really love it.
I do, I love it. It's the most maddening thing at times, but it's rewarding when you get it right. It's something personal that makes me feel good, doing it. And I can't explain why. Some people it's fishing, some people it's skydiving. Find that thing that makes you happy, and I'm just lucky I get to do it in front of, more people than most. And the best part of it is I get to sneak backstage and watch some of the biggest acts in the world play, you know what I mean? And that for me is as big a deal as anything else, to get to watch other, absolutely incredible musicians play.
Wow. That you have such a great life.
Well, I'm not a millionaire. I'm a thousandaire at times until I pay bills. Then I'm a hundredaire, until next paycheck, and then I get to be a thousandaire again. But you'll find too that money doesn't make you happy either. In fact, more of it you have, sometimes the more miserable it can make you. I've seen a lot of rich people that are pretty miserable people to be around.
No, we live kind of tight over here. We're a big family. There's 7 of us. We don't have a lot, but when we get to go out and do things, it's a thrill,
Absolutely. Well, you guys have each other too, and I mean, that's something you can't put a price on. You know what I mean? That your people in your life, that love you as much as you love them, and you get to hang out with them and just, and
songs.
look. Yeah, absolutely. Like the guys in the band, walk up and we tell each other we love each other, and give each other hugs. And it's like, we're just so glad because we get to do this together, your people are as important as the music you do. You know, the people that you do it with are just as important as, you know, playing the music.
I love that. Wow, you're such a great guy. I'm really happy I'm talking to you. This is great. Um,
We'll
oh,
get into the dark segment later.
I have no idea what you just said.
Nothing. I'm just being weird. That's all.
Clearly,
Being me.
if you think you're weird, you don't know Sandy very well.
Oh, yeah? Well, you'll have to tell me about that girlfriend sometime on the phone.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about it because I've got the dirt. Where? So I've got all these questions written out here, and I don't know where we are in this.
Just go down through them and pick some out, and if we've kind of covered it, you don't have to ask it again or whatever, or you can, and I can come at it at a different
angle.
And, yeah.
You know what? How did you get involved with Head East?
In the late '80s, I got in a band, and most of the thing that was going on was the hair band stuff at the time. Yeah. And I got in a band that was at that period of time called Leather Toys, which it sounded really cool at the time, but it sounds kind of weird now, you know, if you think about it. But any rate, it was an all original band. It was the first original band I'd ever been in my life. I'd never wrote anything or been a part of any original music. And any rate, the guitar player got tired of the scene around here, so he decided he was going to go to California and see what he could do out there. Well, he went out there for the summer and found out that it's a mess out there. So he came back, and we put it back together again, and we put together a band called Bad Gypsy. And we wrote some songs, and our booking agent that was booking us at the time, Frank Moyer with AME Entertainment, knew that we were ready to record this. And this, was like 91, whenever we decided we wanted to do it. He goes, I've got the perfect producer for you that would be able to do this, and it would give you name cachet. And that's Roger Boyd of Head East. You know Head East? I said, oh, absolutely. I know who Head East is. And so we met Roger, and Roger produced this CD that we put together. Of course, it never got picked up. It never got released. We got done with it. Oh, it was probably it was like mid-spring or late spring of '92. And at that time, Nirvana had hit. And all of the hair band stuff went out the window. None of the record companies wanted to hear any of that stuff anymore. So we basically had a CD full of stuff that nobody wanted to hear. Anyway, I knew Roger liked my voice, but I didn't know how much. And he, asked about me being in the band, and well, he didn't really ask me, but he kind of talked about it, and I kind of hem-hawed about it or whatever. And we reconnected later on. I did another CD with another band called Toy Maker's Dream. And we actually got the CD done and a cover and everything. It actually looked like a CD. The other one, we got it all recorded. We never did anything with it, but we got done with this, and I went and seen him. That was in '98. And he was playing at what was called Sandstone Theater here in Kansas City. It's an outdoor amphitheater. And I didn't see him again for probably, it was 2005? I think it's 2005. The next time I seen him, I was working construction at the time and had a really long, bad summer. And we had seen that at Lake of the Ozarks, my wife had seen that Head East was playing the end of the summer party down there at Toad Cove, which is a really cool venue down there. And she goes, we ought to go down there. And I hooked up with Roger then, and he remembered who I was after all that time, which kind of surprised me. And he had me get up and sing background vocals on Never Been Any Reason, which is the big song of the band. And, so, we kind of hung out with him that night and all that stuff. And later on, it was like Halloween of that year. They were playing in a place called Lawrence, Kansas, which is where KU is out here. And there was a small bar. They were playing there. And as fate would have it, the band that was opening for them was also the drummer that's in Head East now. He was in the band that was opening for Head East that night. And we'd played together before. In fact, he was on the Toymakers CD. And so I was out there and all this stuff. And Roger was there. And he goes, so what are you guys doing tomorrow night? He goes, we're playing in Kansas City. I said, well, we're playing a private Halloween party in Liberty, Missouri. He goes, I know where Liberty is. He goes, we're playing a bar called Fat Chance, which is in Independence. He goes, is it very far? I said, no, it's not very far away. He goes, if you give me the address, he goes, I'll come out and see you guys for a while. So he came out and seen us. And, you know, that kind of got the ball rolling as far as him thinking about me as the lead singer of the band. Well, fast forward to the beginning of, and I'm trying to think, yeah, it was probably the spring of 2006. And real early spring, like March. And they were playing, they were doing one of those School of Rock things. You know, they had a bunch of the School of Rock bands that came out and they were playing to open for them. And they got up on stage, you know, and did their song. And he goes, I want you to come up and sing On Reason again. I go, okay, that's cool. At any rate, he's got an old Moog synthesizer. It's one of the original ones. And it messed up during Never Been Any Reason. So he didn't get me called up there. And I thought, well, you know, I'm not going to get up. No big deal. And then he called me up later for their encore. He goes, you know, come on up. And he asked me to sing on that. He goes, you know, the background to Elijah, you know, the song Elijah. I go, yeah, I know that song. And I knew that they had been missing the high harmony in it. So I sang all the high harmonies and he gave me that face of amazement, you know, where, you know, he hadn't heard that in a while. And it was shortly thereafterward that he inquired about me joining the band to our booking agent. And I told him, I said, how's that going to work? I go, you know, because they're guitar players, the singer, how's that going to work? And Frank goes, well, they just get a new guitar player. Well, then Frank, our agent, he pitched him. He goes, listen, he goes, if you're going to take Darren, he goes, really, you need to take the whole band, which was London Drive at the time I was playing in. He goes, and just assimilate the whole band in. He goes, that way they're all in one place and they can practice together and all that stuff. So the inquiry was made and we said, okay. And he said, Roger goes, well, he goes, it's the beginning of the summer. He goes, I don't want to try to put this together right now. He goes, I'm going to have to wait a while because it's going to take a minute. So he'd let us know. And this is like 3 months went by and we thought he changed his mind and all that stuff. And he got a hold of us. It was in like August of 2006 and gave us 7 songs to learn. And so we worked on all 7 of those songs, and they came over, and he tried us out, and we didn't know it, but they said after the first verse and chorus of the first song, which was Getting Lucky, you know, we had the job. But we went ahead and did all 7 songs, and told us we got the job, and they practiced together. And our very first gig was Halloween of 2006. In South Beloit, Illinois, at it was a Holiday Inn with like 15 hay bales and 20 people. That was our first gig. So
I feel like
that's how I got in the band.
Wow, that was so much fun. Well, I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here,
Well, the guys that I play with,
I gotta fix my pillow.
Sure, go ahead and fix your pillow.
I'm so sorry.
What? It fell down?
No, I'm sitting on the
you're
floor.
Sitting on the floor. I got you.
Yeah, it's not. You know what? I think next time I'm gonna have to find a better place to sit.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sitting in a chair, luckily. So.
Before I was freaking out about the laptop not working, I was sitting at my computer and I was thinking this could work really well, but then I wouldn't have the records around me.
Yeah, well, there's that too.
So
That
between
too.
comfort and records,
Absolutely. Hey, you earned each and every one of those. They're like awards, that you actually paid for, but you know, an album's such a cool thing. It's so different than buying a stream or buying an MP3 because you get all the artwork on the front back covers. Back in the day when we bought albums, you just prayed to God that it was going to fold open and there would be more on the inside to read, you know.
yeah,
And if
this.
it was a really cool album, yeah, if it was a really cool album, they would have the words on the inner sleeve where the album was. Yes, absolutely. And I mean, you look forward to all of that, that the album cover was as important as the music too.
I totally agree with that. You get it. You totally get it.
Yeah, I'm surprised you get it because you're from a different age group that didn't get to live any of that.
I get to
I mean, that's the way we learned about bands but because really they didn't do any live interviews. I mean, there was no magazines, there was nothing. If you could catch them live at concert, or maybe if you were lucky enough to find out where they did like a personal meet and greet somewhere at a record store, sign records. There was no meet and greets afterwards. There was, it's so different. I think actually the absence of them being around made it more, you were more interested. You were digging you worked harder to try to find more out about it, as to where it's so easy now. Google, tell me about so and so, and you can go in there and find all kinds of crap, or YouTube. I want to hear, I want to see their discography. I want to listen, and you didn't have that option then.
Yeah.
You had to buy them like you did there.
I can't believe they went to record stores and did what?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. It usually, the big record chain in town would have the band out to one of their main stores, and they would go out and they would do album signings, and like meet and greets, and you just show up and bring an album or whatever, or buy an album, and they would just sign it. Yeah.
I can't even imagine that. Oh my
Yep.
God. Imagine if you
You
had
didn't have to
that
pay. You didn't have to pay money to get in or nothing, but you had to wait in line. That's for sure.
Oh, I'd have done it. Wow.
like back in the day when we used to buy concert tickets, and there was no internet, or you go camp out outside of the store, sleep out on the sidewalk waiting for them to open the next morning so you could be in line to get the first tickets.
Oh wow.
Crazy
Oh
stuff.
wow. Do kids
Crazy
go to
stuff.
concerts anymore? Is that a thing?
I don't know. I hope they do. I hope.
Oh man, you totally get it. This is wild.
Yeah, I was a fan way before I was a rock star. Well, let's go rock star.
You're a rock star. Come on, man. You know it.
Well, like I say, man, I don't feel like that when I'm up there. I feel like I feel like that they're trying to get me off of there. You know what I mean? And I'm running away from them. With the microphone.
That's not how.
Oh no, it's all a game to me.
Oh well, us fans think you're a rock star.
Well, thank you very much.
There,
I appreciate that.
So you have a new album coming out this summer, is that right? Is that true?
Yeah, it's coming out on Cleopatra. Um, it's a re-record. It's a lot of the stuff that you do now, like for this, has to do with control of the recordings. You know what I mean? The music is copyrighted, obviously, but A&M owns, all of the distribution on the stuff that they did, that was popular, like the Flat as a Pancake album and that. Any rate, so they took the top streaming songs. Obviously, Reason was the top, and then there's Love Me Tonight, and so on and so forth. And we record those, and the reason why they do that is they have control over those, and they put them on stream. Like if you go on and listen to Pandora or Spotify, a lot of the stuff that you hear on there is new recording. it's you know, a lot of times the same bands or whatever, but they re-record it. Like Styx has done it. You hear a lot of their stuff that they do on their streaming is the new stuff that they recorded. I've Blue Oyster Cult same way, and that's why they're doing that with us, because you know they're gonna with the streaming they control, you know, the rights to put that out on streaming, and they don't have to deal with the minutia of, you know, A&M or whatever, you know. That's, but there's also 3 new original songs. One of them I wrote, and the other 2 Greg wrote, and they will be on the album. So that'll be kind of exciting. So there'll be a little bit of new music coming out at any rate.
Oh, I'm excited.
Maybe I'll get to be 100 stream, or maybe 200 streams with myself.
Right. Right. Only 100 to 200?
Well, you never know. It could be more, but you know, you don't want to get too hasty and wish for too much.
I'm having so much
pillow
trouble
anyway.
with my darn pillow.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Should have got you a dog bed to sit in. They're about as comfortable as anything else. Is there one close by? Run and get it.
No, I can't get it from my dog. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I was going to say, or pull a cushion off the couch. But dog beds are great for sitting on or what have you. Yeah.
Is this something you do?
Oh, absolutely. I go down there and lay with the dogs in theirs at our house.
Oh, yeah?
Go down there.
How big are your dogs?
We've got a Chihuahua that's like 16 years old. So I can't get in her bed, obviously, but and then we've got a Chiweenier, which is a mix between a wiener dog and a Chihuahua. And then we've got a lab mix. He's the one that you can get down there and get cozy with. And he loves it when you come down there and visit him and hang out with him down there in his bed. So
I want to do that.
Absolutely.
My dog's a Yorkie though, so that might be difficult.
Yeah, well, maybe you could maybe you could lay your head on the bed with him, you know.
That was close.
Oh, you almost spit it out.
Yeah, that would have been bad, especially with, you know, Brian and then the laptop.
Sure, yeah,
you know the issues I have
don't
with my
spit
laptop.
on Brian. He won't think highly of that.
No,
He might get warped.
Oh my God, that's like my worst nightmare.
What kind of guitar is it?
Let me see. I should know that, right? He's a Yamaha.
It's a Yamaha. Good guitar. Yeah, good guitar.
Here, you want to hear him?
Yamaha, Alvarez. They make really good acoustic guitars that are pretty affordable. Yeah. Well, I've got an Alvarez that's similar body style, but mine's more of a mahogany finish. It's a darker, it's a darker finish.
Music thing, so I'm trying
Sure,
to
absolutely.
difference between
You'll never stop learning. You might get somewhat proficient at it, but you'll never stop learning. It's a learning experience every day. You do something you ain't never done before.
I love that. I don't want to stop learning, you know?
No.
When I'm hearing things for the first time, it's just so exciting. I don't ever want to stop being that excited.
Absolutely. I know the feeling.
Yeah, it's great. So tell me about your summer tour, and I'll try not to jump around too much. I'm still having some issues, but you know what? The pillow's gone, so maybe it'll be better.
Absolutely. Well, let's see. We're going to be playing in Dixon, Illinois here on the 22nd of this month. We're going to be playing. Oh, what else? I'm trying to think now that I didn't write all of that down because I'm bad.
It's okay.
We've got some shows in Illinois coming up. I don't think we have anything in Wisconsin yet this year. We seem to play a lot in Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa, Missouri, quite a bit. Some years Kansas is pretty good. Oh, we're playing in Shawnee Mission, Kansas. Or no, we're not playing in Shawnee Mission, Kansas. That's another band. I mean, that's another whole story. Never mind.
It's a different band?
Huh?
You mixed your tour schedule up with a different band?
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'd look at my Google Calendar, but I got this Zoom thing so figured out I don't want to mess it up.
Oh, you don't want to mess with that.
What's coming up. But we do have some stuff coming up this summer. And obviously there's more stuff that's being booked all the time. We're going to play with Artemis Pyle. I don't know if you know who he is.
Let me go.
He was the original drummer. Well, I shouldn't say the original drummer, but he was actually the drummer that went down to the plane crash with Leonard Skinner.
Oh,
In fact, he was the one that ran out of the woods and saved all of them, and roused Farmer and all that stuff so they could come find him.
oh my
But
God.
he's still out playing. He's got his own little thing going on, and we're going to do a couple shows with them in Illinois this summer as well. And if you want to know what the band's doing, you can go to head-east.com, and there's a tour schedule on there. That's how I find out where we're going. I only know the next show we're doing. I can't remember any of the rest of them. So
What's your next show?
the next show is Dixon, Illinois.
Yeah.
We're playing out there on the 22nd of this month. So
Great. Well, I'm gonna post this soon, so everyone will 22nd, folks.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, I should probably bring Anna Lynn back up for the last question. I just totally forgot.
Sure,
I
absolutely.
had so much trouble with my pillow.
Well, I know what it's like to sit on the ground. I get up so crippled I can't really get up anymore.
I'm so sorry to hear that. Karen.
Sorry, Anna Lynn.
Anna Lear.
Anna Lear.
Anna
Did
Lynn.
I get it right?
Anna Lynn. Lynn, yeah.
Anna Lynn. Okay, so I did get it right.
Fine.
Okay. Sorry, sweetie. I got your name wrong.
You got my name.
That's all right. You can call me Durwood.
What was that?
You can call me Durwood.
Durwood?
Yeah. It's a Bewitched term. You would have had to watch the Bewitched shows from way back in the series, way back in the day. Never mind. It's old people stuff.
No, I know what Bewitched is. I haven't seen every episode though. I'll have to ask my folks. They're fans.
Of course, the star in that show, his name was Darren in the show.
Right.
And Samantha's mom called him Durwood instead of calling him Darren. She called him Durwood. Which I hated when we were growing up in school because everybody called me that in school. I was like, God.
So you're asking her to call you that?
Yeah, it's all right now. I've got tougher skin now. Go ahead.
Okay, Durwood.
Perfect.
Oh, you're so funny. Darren, would you provide us all, us two of us, and the people watching, with some words of wisdom?
Words of wisdom. Okay. Well, when it comes to music, especially if you're going to be a performer or something, do it because you love it. Find something that you love doing and find people you love doing it with. And if you play somewhere and there's nobody there, you always have the people that are there with you and you can entertain each other and have a good time. And don't be afraid, as far as music goes, to play something that you necessarily don't think you're going to like, because I found out that if I open myself up to some of that stuff, you find out that you love it after you get into it and you understand it a little better. I'll tell you a short story, just so you know. The bass player that I play with, his name is Greg Manahan. He was playing in a top 40 variety band. And they're playing the Earth, Wind, and Fire and the Chicago, and they're playing No Doubt. They did a No Doubt song, and they did just, all kinds of stuff, that, I thought was very cool. You know what I mean? And I went and seen them one night, and me and my wife went, and I told my wife, I said, I swear to God, I will never, ever, ever play in a band like that ever. I said, the music sucks. I hate it. You know what I mean? And the next spring came around, and Greg couldn't do a few shows, so they called me up and asked me to do the bass on it. I go, oh my God. I said, I don't know if I can play that stuff. I said, I'm just a rock bass player. You know what I mean? Drone on a note or whatever. And the drummer told me, he said, well, and he's talking about the guitar player. Who's the guitar player for Head East now? He said, well, Mark Murtha thinks you can do it. And I'm going, well, if Mark Murtha thinks I can do it, well, then I can do it. So I spent like it was 42 days learning. No, what was it? It was 2 months learning 42 songs. And I never had so much fun in my life playing that stuff. The bass playing is so incredible on it, and way out of my league. You know what I mean? And I worked really hard, and it was so satisfying to do it, and I really like those songs now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just, I listened to it and I thought, this is stupid. Why would anybody want to do it? And then you do it and you go, oh, I get it. You know what I mean? It's like, and I fell in love with Chicago, and went somewhere, and some band was a tribute to somebody else, and they had a couple of horns and they did a couple of Chicago songs, and it was to die for. I've never got to see them live. I would love to see them live. If any of you out there ever gets a chance to see Chicago live, please go do it. So incredible. And there's so many other bands like that too. The 70s had so many great bands. And a lot of them I hated on because, I was the Aerosmith and Kiss and, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? I'm the rocker kind, and I didn't realize how cool some of that stuff was. Fleetwood Mac, I hated them. You know what I mean? And it's like, later on, you go, wow, that stuff was incredible. And I just didn't get it. So leave your mind open to some stuff like that. Music, it's a lot like fashion. It'll kind of change, like clothes do, but what goes around comes around. And just enjoy it. It'll love you back as much as you love it. I guarantee you. If you get to where you want to hear me talk again, you can just play all this stuff over again and listen to me ramble on again if you want to.
Well, you didn't ramble on. Ramble on is a Led Zeppelin song. You didn't ramble on.
Yeah.
Oh, I really enjoy it. I think a lot of people are gonna really enjoy it. I'm
Well,
really
good.
excited.
Well, hopefully. So, are you doing this for a class, or are you doing it
Wow.
for?
I love doing this. I
Oh,
love
cool.
I love
So you
art.
got your own little page that you posted on, or whatever, or something like
Yeah,
that.
so
Or
I do it on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram.
oh, awesome! Well, how cool is that? Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it exciting?
See, I'm not savvy to all that. I don't understand how all that works. So
I
I'm
can send
to
you
learn
some.
anything new. You'll find out too when you get older. You don't want to learn anything else because then somebody will expect you to do it. So, I don't want to learn anything else. I know enough the way it is. So another little feather for your hat so you can remember later on. Don't after you get to a certain age, don't learn anymore because people will just expect you to do more. So
What age is that?
it probably started with me in my 40s. So I've been at it for a while trying to not learn anything else. So
I've been working real hard on not learning for a while now.
that's right. It's hard work.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure that'll go great with school.
Yes. Well, I mean, you're not that age yet. You have to learn. You've got learning to do, but you'll get to the point where you find out whenever you learn a skill or something else and people want you to do it for them, and it's like, I want to do some things for myself. So
I guess I'll keep that in mind.
not till you're in your 40s, though. You got to
Okay,
watch.
I'll keep that in mind.
Keep on learning. Keep on learning.
40s. Alrighty, you know what? That wasn't the advice I expected to hear from you, but I'll take it. Oh, you're so much fun.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. I don't know what happened. I just kind of dropped her.
I think she fell asleep.
Why do you keep putting me on the floor? No reason. Okay. There's never been any reason.
Right. For you to sleep on the floor.
Yeah.
Beyond the clouds and the rain, a place where sadness drains, where the sun peers over your sadness and your pain. There is no gravity, yet within this cavity you make your own truth. Your dreams will come true if your mind isn't glued to the fact that life is so blue. Your dreams cannot stay if you don't repay yourself for making it through. The path to making your dreams come true.